Hello everyone, and welcome to this broadcast. We are living in strange times, but that we know that we have a loving God who will never leave us, never forsake us, and we have much to thank him for, now and always. This morning we celebrate two events in the Methodist Church year, the fourth Sunday in Lent and Mothering Sunday. The Church of England also celebrate a third event today, named Refreshment Sunday, or Laetare, which is Latin for rejoice. It's all rather eccentric and seems to make little sense at first glance. And the reading from Luke chapter 2 blurs matters rather more, when Simeon prophesies to Mary that her child Jesus was going to suffer and that a sword would pierce her own soul. There's a common misconception that Mothering Sunday originated in the Victorian period, when servants were allowed to go home and visit their mothers on this day. If they were lucky enough to live in a large house, they may have been given simnel cake to take home as a gift. A simnel cake was decorated with 11 rounded balls of marzipan, said to represent the 11 apostles, or 12 when it included Jesus. Simnel cake and Mothering Sunday actually have much earlier roots in the medieval period, with an early reference made to simnel as a word in the 13th century. Foodstuffs would be running low at this time of year, and so to give someone a simnel cake was a huge benefit, as it's so calorie dense. Also bright, generous and cheerful after 4 weeks of fasting. So where are these apparent contradictions leading us? Why are we simultaneously celebrating mothering and hearing of Simeon's prophecy that Mary would be experiencing extreme pain that would pierce her soul? Well, as so often happens, it's all about love. It's about the very nature of mothering. This does not exclude men who are equally able to nurture and to mother, but we can blame history for this omission. Men have throughout time, until very recently, been represented as the warrior and the provider. The gospel message today shows that any experience of a close and loving relationship is at some time or another going to demand of us equal pain and grief. Mothering Sunday can be a very painful time when we are reminded of those we have loved beyond reason but have lost. Any parent, wife or husband or lover knows the agony of having to let go or suffer the death of someone who has been our life and our love. So many examples, from the adored child fleeing the nest, the breakup of a long relationship where the pain never lessens, the losses associated with increasing frailty or increasing years, the loss of parents, the loss of a child. And we remember those who were never truly mothered or nurtured. It's all in all a day of mixed emotions, never represented in a Mother's Day card from the shops. Let's think more about today's reading from the Gospel in Luke 2, verses 25 to 35, where we can recall Simeon's prediction to Mary, a prophecy that was fulfilled on the first Good Friday, as she waited at the foot of the cross, watching her adored son suffer and die. I think Mary becomes the epitome of what it is to love on that dreadful day, and the icon for all as to what loving is. She teaches us that with love comes pain. She teaches us that all love makes us vulnerable, makes us take risks. If we don't love, then the painful realities of life, such as rows, illnesses, loss, broken relationships, and death, would not hurt us half as much. But we do love, and that hurts. Mothering Sunday, so close to Holy Week, reminds us that any relationship without pain is likely to be a relationship without love. And how cold a life that would be. If we choose to love, we are inviting in risk, and our hearts may be broken. But we cannot wish it to be any other way, as we were made in the image of God, and our God is love personified. We have the benefit of knowing the story of Easter, when the Mother Mary could not have known of her son's ultimate resurrection to come. And we know that following the greatest time of grief flowered new life, new hope, and new love. If we want new life and love in all its glory, then we must accept the way of the cross. For resurrection or new life comes by the taking of risks and experience of suffering, which the cross represents. Love is the most costly currency, but we cannot live without it. Now we refer to God as He. Throughout history this has been so, but God has no gender, for He is all. He is everything. He gives us our humanity, but humanity needed to give Him a gender because we have an innate need to parcel people up into neat groups. And history is, of course, male-centric, so God is seen mostly as male. We do not understand God's self-definition of I am. Well, we aren't meant to. It's beyond our understanding. God is nurturing itself, so mothering and fathering is a gift of God. Well, this isn't new thinking. It's not weird. The great early female English prophet, Mother Julian of Norwich, said this: "The dear gracious hands of God, our Mother, are ever about us." She also said, "A kind, loving mother who understands and knows the needs of her child will look after it tenderly, because it is the nature of a mother to do so. As the child grows older, she changes her methods, but not her love. This way of doing things is our Lord at work in those who do them." The short-lived John Paul I was to affirm that God truly was our mother and our father. He said, "God is our Father, but even more, He is our mother." The crucifixion teaches us much more about love. At the time of his greatest agony, Jesus says this to his mother. He said, "Here is your son." And to his close friend, "Here is your mother." This means that if we choose to follow Jesus, then we have a responsibility to nurture and love our fellow man. If we choose to follow him, then we must recognize each other's human needs to both give and receive love. It is often said that in the moment of crucifixion, a new way of being family was born. We are facing challenging times. which will inevitably cause some worry and sorrow when we fear for our elders and the vulnerable, and may despair at the greed and selfishness of those thinking only of themselves. But I urge you to look differently. I urge you to look beyond all that, to the many in our communities who are putting themselves forward to act generously and lovingly. The elderly and disabled will soon be given priority in shops. Individuals are offering their time freely to collect shopping for those unable to go. Community groups are springing up everywhere with offers to run errands, collect prescriptions for people isolated at home, and any other odd job. Local restaurants are offering home delivery of cooked meals. Phone conversations between friends and family are blossoming. Skype is a modern-day blessing to those separated from family and friends. I, for one, am communicating with my daughter in Australia, and that's hugely, hugely satisfying. In our own mother church, right here, there will be many who could offer to help, go shopping, collect prescriptions, or just phone you for a chat. We are looking at ways of keeping in close contact with everyone over the next few months, and more methods will be tried. The church will be different, and so many new opportunities will be explored to show our communities that we act out of love in practical ways. You might know the old saying, necessity is the mother of invention, and God gave us a sound mind to imagine new possibilities. Well, as a non-tech person, I can see that if we learn to love some vehicles of technology, then we can keep in very close touch with each other. More to that will come, I'm sure. We need to remember to look after ourselves, to mother and nurture ourselves more than ever before. What that looks like is as individual as you are. In essence, though, look after your mind, body, and soul. Try to keep your brain working in whichever way suits you. Maybe learn a new language, read, crafting, and better conversations with the family, or still working from home. Although we must isolate ourselves to some degree, it is important to look after and nurture our bodies by good nutrition, good hand hygiene, and exercise. If able, we are still able to take ourselves out for walks in the fresh air. And if you're blessed with a garden, now is the time to get cracking. And not lastly, care for your soul, your emotional health if you wish. Months of this new regime could test us. Hold on to your faith. Feed it with reading and listening to the Bible. Read commentaries. We will be able to recommend some if anyone is interested. Sing songs of love and of worship. Thank God for our many blessings, however hard things seem. Feed your faith and it will serve you well. And preserve your mental health as best you can. In addition to all I have mentioned, consider contacting relevant helplines. If you are struggling, I am happy to share a very long list of such numbers if you wish. Just let me know. There are also countless self-help guides online, but I would suggest sticking with Mind, M-I-N-D, or Rethink. For a Christian perspective, consider looking out for Mind and Soul Foundation. for comprehensive advice and information. We are going to be facing many challenges from now on, and that is for sure. But we can know that we are loved by our Father more than words can say. We will be protected from harm, and we must be encouraged by that eternal promise. Look after yourself, look after each other, and God bless you. Sending out Christian love from me to you. Amen.